All right. Let's see. That should be ready. This is set. That is set. All right. Move some of this stuff over here real quick. All right. What's up? We'll give it a little bit of time and we'll go over the wow, work is killing me. What can I say? Like, I'm tired. But let me make sure that this is set up right before we do anything else. I will do that and then bring this up, move this over. Let's change that to live. Let's make sure that this is set. That's not what I need. I need this. There we go. There. Live chat should be set up. Everything should be right. There we go. And what's going on? We today are going to do the top 10 of 2025. In terms of a channel update, I don't have too much, in all honesty. All I can tell you for sure is that, hey, the holidays hit. That's the way it happens sometimes. I got busy. We missed a couple of them. We'll be back on track. I have changed something minorly in the way that some content is going to post, however. And it will be somewhat relevant while going forward. Sometimes when I do the stuff that's a little bit outdated, like older videos and whatnot, as I finish edits and whatnot for the chapters, sometimes I post them like day. I may, and I haven't decided this 100% yet, I may come in and just start dropping those. Like do a mass drop where if I finish 5 edits that day, finish 5 videos, I may post all 5 of them. The only time that I will start staggering those out is as we catch ourselves back up to a point where I've got all the chapters done and we're cutting the chapters for more recent videos, or if I come across something that I need to do where we need to talk about toy news or something like that, something I specifically have something real to say about, and then those videos will be posted throughout the course of the week and things like that. So that might be a minor change in how I drop content until everything gets caught up. Otherwise, we'll figure it out. Also, Tuesday is not going to be the regular day for these. I think we are going to stick with Monday. Originally, we started these on Wednesday, and we had to move to Monday because of a situation that was happening where my wife was doing madrigals and things like that. Now, because that is over, and I've kind of gotten used to Monday, and I kind of like starting the week out like this, we might end up, I think we're going to stay with Monday. So it should be that for this year moving forward, Mondays are going to be the days that we come in and we talk toys. And that's pretty much the update. I don't have any videos that are necessarily ready to go up, and we don't have too much that we need to really talk about. Unless like certain videos specifically come up and things like that. We'll figure that out as we go. This was a big year. It was. So let me go into this. Let me do a couple of these. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. That's good news. I am too. I'm very interested to see how this is going to go, actually. Hey, how you doing? What's up, guys? They were, for what it's worth. Very much so. Same time, same day. Awesome. Great news. Awesome. All right. Well, we are going to do the top 10 of 2025. Now, for anybody that discovers this video and wonders what I'm talking about, this is not a top 10 Marvel Legends. It's not a top 10 DC. It's not a top 10 whatever. That's not what this is. And it's not a top 10 of the year 2025. That's a misconception. This is literally about the items that were unboxed via vote and individual videos throughout all of 2025. If we opened it, if we discussed it, if we talked fandom, if we had topics, it's in here. I have currently, because we've already done one of these, we've already done one of these. We cut this list in half already, one time. So, what is left are 71 figures that need to be cut down to 10. And there are some big figures this year. I think the first run through this list will be easy to cut down. I really do. I'm not kidding. I think some of these will be absolute without question. No, you're not going to make it. And none of these are bad figures unless we specifically say that they are. And there was, not many, but there was a couple of figures this year that were not good. They just were not good, okay? That happens. So, let me pull this up. And let me access this. Let's go down here. Well, now I'm itty bitty all the way down here at the corner. First item today was the Star Trek Playmates limited edition. This was actually a limited edition years back. I think there were only like 150,000 of these were ever produced at all. I opened mine. Of course I did. I don't care. I'm not sad about it. And I already set it up. It's right back there. And I was thrilled about it. Would this make top 10? I'm going to say no. However, that's with a caveat. There were so many this year. So many absolute monsters this year. Big, big, big monsters. Like, so many good toys happened this year. But even with all the nostalgia and all the history tied behind this, because this was like my favorite toy for a long time growing up. And I talked about it during that video. I talked about how much I really loved this and how big of a deal it was and how I was really on about having the bridge again and everything. Even with all of that backing it, realistically, these are Star Trek Playmates. They are what they are. And Star Trek Playmates, regardless of how much I may love them, do not take the winning circle when they are up against things like the Sentinel this year. It's just, it's not gonna happen. But it is with a lot of love. Having this back in my collection was a huge deal to me. So, nope, it's not happening. Thundercats, we're talking about Lino, Chitara, which I saw the other two, and that's all I think I need now is the other two. I need the tiger guy and the panther guy. Once I have those, I have a set of Thundercats, and I'll be more than happy with them, probably for a long time, to be fair, until I actually see the show and read a couple of the books and get an idea of exactly how I feel about them. These are not going to make that top. There's no way. But these are solid figures. This is a very good alternative to Super 7, and it fits them into a scale that is kind of running the markets right now. Like, we have a lot of figures that are based in this scale and this design that are happening all over the market from different angles right now, and these guys really fit into it, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. It's what caught my attention about them in the first place. Spider-Man 77. Very cool figure. Very cool. No way. He can't, no way. There's no way this guy goes the distance, but this guy was a gem. Like, it's so cool to think that we have a Spider-Man 77. Like, it really is. It blows my mind. No, Vega's not going to make it, but once again, solid figure. I am yet to be disappointed by a single Jada Street Fighter. Like, not even one, literally. There's not even one that I'm disappointed with yet, which is impressive. Mumra, no. But he is a sweet figure, especially in the scale that he's designed for and the kind of toy that he is. But I did come across a problem with him already. Minor, but it's a problem. His cape. his cape only took less than a month for one side of it to go loose and to start falling down. And no matter how many times I raise it, it keeps constantly falling down. That's a little irritating. And I'm going to have to go in there and kind of like find a way to tighten that up and everything. And it doesn't exactly thrill me that happened. But it did. That is the way that it is. Shaggy? No. Shaggy does not make the top 10 this year. But I love the fact that we are finally getting solid Scooby-Doo figures, and I'm looking forward to completing that line, very much so. She's good. That's fair. I said it right there. No, not a top 10 this year. No way. This, Batman, I have fixed it. I did. I went through the process. If you saw this video, you know what I'm talking about. I bought him. He was everything I wanted him to be. He's a little bit darker than I would have preferred in my color scheme, but I liked his belt. I liked the oval. I liked the gray. I liked the blue. Everything about him seemed to hit. And then I found that his cape did not have a wire. Like it's even sewn in the way that the other capes are sewn for holding the wire for the wire frame, and it didn't have the wire. I have fixed that myself. It is the first time I've done that in a very long time. It's not something that I often do, is go in and kind of fix my toys. It's not a very regular thing for me. I don't go out of my way to do that very often anymore. I've kind of fallen into this feeling where like all toys are kind of their own art. And I don't really like to mess with them too much, alter them, paint them, things like that, unless I have two of them. If I have something to play with, that's a different story altogether. But I really like the original artistic integrity of each idea, and it kind of speaks to me in different ways because of that, and I usually don't like to alter them. With him, I wanted that cape to be what I wanted it to be. So for the first time in a very long time, not that this is a major alteration, I went in there and put the wires in myself. I did a pretty good job for what it's worth. Like, it's one of those things where I look at it and I know I had to fix it. So something about it always sits in the back of my head that, like, it's not right. But anybody else that would come and look at it would probably not be able to tell that I altered it. They would think that it was made that way. So I feel like I did a good job, but I know, and it's always in the back of my head, will this guy make 10? I would be very surprised. We're not going to delete him, but I would be shocked if this guy went the distance, in all honesty. Oh my God, we got a polar bear. Like, the rest of the pack doesn't even matter. I know we got a Snake Eyes. Who cares? We got a polar bear. Let's give him a chance, though I have no idea what that chance really is. But look, whether he makes the top 10 or not, we got a polar bear this year. World War II Logan. Very, very cool. We're going to wait. I very much doubt it. That he would make it into the top 10, though he is incredibly unique. And that really does say something for how often we've gotten Wolverine after Wolverine after Wolverine, to the point of it honestly getting old. We're going to leave him, but I'll be very shocked. Mystique. No. I have wanted a Mystique for a very long time. I now have a Mystique. That's cool. She's mainly updated, but she still has that pet peeve that I'm not getting over. By now, these figures in this line should always come with the new female body. I don't care. Like, we're at a point now where we are spending the extra money. This line has gotten more expensive. And I do not believe for a second that you could update everything about this figure and you're telling me you couldn't have used the torso that you used on the Phoenix and painted it white. Why? Why? You couldn't have used the torso that you used on Warbird, painted it white. You couldn't have used the lower torso of anybody. Like, this needs to be fixed. And it has seen me pass up a couple of figures this year, actually. because we are getting to the point where I'm no longer willing to pay into the line that is not willing to evolve. So I liked her a lot, but that is the one thing that's holding her back. It really is. However, I finally have one, and aside from an absolute overhaul, at this point now that I do have her, I don't know if I'd buy her again if they released her the same way and gave her the lower torso. I don't know that would even be worth it now, because now I have this and you're asking me to upgrade for $40. Things are getting tight, and we are going to start making some real changes in how much we're willing to pay or do, and she's a big part of that. I didn't have a Mystique. That's what bought her for me. If I had already had a Mystique and they had released this and the only thing they did was make the arms better and give a new head, no, not worth it. So I think we are at that point now where we're going to start asking a lot of these questions, and that is one of the biggest things, aside from the fact there are some absolute ridiculous contenders this year. That's one of the things that kind of takes her guaranteedly off the list. That's Emma. That's the White Queen. That's a sick figure. That's really, really good. I love that figure. I love both facial sculpts, and I actually took, we talked about it in this, where I had the other Phoenix, and I didn't know whether or not I wanted to lose her because I wanted that head. But if I was going to get rid of the head, if I was going to keep the head, there's no way I could sell the body. I don't have to sell the body. I found a way to kind of have my cake and eat it too. I took the other head and put it on that Phoenix body so that now I have an Emma Frost Phoenix, kind of like that scene that we all know where Jean kind of walks in on the situation. I know that it was in their head, yada yada, psychic, this and that and everything, and I know that there's a context to that, but I'm just saying it's an iconic scene, and I can now make that, and that's pretty cool. So I am happy with that in general, and I really love that figure. I don't know if she's going the distance. I would be very, very surprised. And yes, for what it's worth, she doesn't have an upper torso movement necessarily, but she does have the lower torso movement in kind of like a ball joint kind of thing. She has more movement than I was expecting, and a lot more movement that I'm willing to forgive, because she's wearing that corset, and she really wouldn't move as well as other female characters from this series in the first place. But I'd be surprised if she goes the distance. Reptilax. Not going to happen. Sorry, man. Catwoman. I am truly impressed with the figures that came out this year for the Batman Returns. I am. I don't know if she's going to make it. We'll give her a shot. This is pretty cool. And that is CoverGirl, and I'm going to say, I get it. I get that some people grew up with what they grew up with. I like the other CoverGirl more. I like the jacket. I like the jeans. I like the look. I like all the belts. I like the shotgun. I like the short hair. Like, I'm serious. And it's probably because I don't have any nostalgia attached to this, so I see it very differently than some other people probably see it, and I completely understand that, because I'm the same way. Sometimes I want it to be what I want it to be, and if it's not, I feel a certain way about it. I actually like the other CoverGirl more. I like both of them, but I actually do like the classified CoverGirl more. I think that's a fantastic redesign. I really do. That was a cool pack. It's a nice little gimmicky thing. It puts another He-Man on the shelf. Not that I need another He-Man on the shelf, but there it is. It's not going the distance. That's fine. That I bought specifically because of him. I wanted a Yag-Kasha type Elephant Man thing going on. I got it. I'm happy with it. I'm waiting for the Conan to appear in this scale, which is this year, actually. It'll be out this year. March, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look it back up, but I think it's March. Maybe earlier than that. I think it's March. If it is, that's cool. I'm already set to do a couple of pictures with this. Not going the distance, though. That is a beautiful She-Ra. It is an absolutely fantastic, stellar She-Ra that came with the horse and everything else. That I needed that. I needed that because the other She-Ra is so bad. Blanca, awesome. I love his electric effects and everything. He is cool. Once again, I am not displeased by a single one of these Jadas that have come out, but is he going the distance? No. No way. Triclops? No way. No way, Tila. You have a lot of the same problems that we saw with the She-Ra that was released. You're not as bad as her, but there are problems that hold you back, and they are very hard to deny. That is so good. That is one of the best McFarlanes we saw this year, personally. Like, the more time I've spent with her, like, I really appreciate this figure. I really do. I think it's very, very well done. Darth Malik. Very cool. Very happy to have him. Finally, after all these years, I put KOTOR on the shelf, which is absolutely phenomenal. Going the distance? I don't think so. I think we can eliminate this. Sentinel. Come on, let's be real. If something knocks him off the list, I am stupefied. This thing is straight up magic. This is so cool. This is an update to a figure that I still have today. I still have my dice from all those years ago. Will he go the distance? I don't know. We will see. Oh my God. Shuma. Guys, this is astonishing. It is one of the coolest things I have ever bought. We'll see how far he goes. This is a bit of a cheat. It's all 4 of them. These are the turtles I wanted my whole life. I'm not kidding. I still stand by that. These Super 7 turtles, the reimagining, remasters, rearticulations, rescales of the exact turtles I grew up with, it's magnificent. It doesn't get any better than that. This is an absolute nostalgia overload. I only got the metal belt on one turtle, though. I heard there was like a variant, a 1 and a 2 for all of these. Some of them got the metal on their belts, some of them didn't, or whatever. I don't understand to the exact extent of what that is, and I don't care. These are exactly what I wanted. We'll see if they go the distance. Like, they're up against some... See, they're up against some really, really good stuff. Superman, Christopher Reeve, that face, that sculpt, that design, the bodywork they did, the crystal, that's so good. We'll see. Oh my gosh. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I get it. You like what you like. That is the best McFarlane figure that he did for the DC multiverse so far. I'm not kidding. Like, there is nothing else on the shelf I take off more than her. I'm serious. Panther. Very good figure. Do I think it's going the distance this year? Oh man, I don't know. I'd be very surprised. We're going to be making a lot of cuts soon. I don't think she's going the distance. That is a very good figure. Hands down, it is tremendously good. It doesn't go the distance, and there are some real reasons as to why. The Frazetta Icons is an absolutely fantastic line. But the problems that it has are real and noticeable the more you mess around with them and the more you try to get certain poses and things like that. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying that their limitation is visible when you start messing around with them, and that right there pulls her off the list. That's still my favorite Superman ever. No, it's not going to happen, but that is a very good Skeletor. Ooh. We'll see. That's the Joker I wanted. From the very start, that is the Joker I absolutely wanted. No. That's cool. That's very, very cool. go in the distance this year? No, it has some real problems in terms of its balancing and how well it stands up and its ability to pose and things like that. It came with some real issues, but it is a very cool figure. He's very smug. That's very cool. Best of the year? No. I know how some people feel about that. I get it. But that is a good Hulk. I couldn't have asked for better at the time that I bought him. I really could not have. King Conan doesn't make it, but I've come to find out, after buying a couple more Super 7 in the Conan line, that he is better than most of the other ones. Like, King Cole can't sit. His legs won't move that way. He cannot sit down. The fact that he moves as well as he does, with the pose he does, with the articulation that he got, limited as it is because of the age of the kind of figures that they're doing, because they're very much behind the time, as well as that very, very definitive face and everything, that guy is the best Super 7 I opened this year, probably. I'm serious about that. I'm kind of surprised about it. DJ, very cool. Not making it to the end of the year, I don't think. That is a good Sabretooth. He's bigger. He's more imposing. I don't think he necessarily moves better or poses better than the other one that I had, but he's noticeably better than the one that I had. Now, got the Zed throne this year. That was very cool. It is very, very cool. But it's more just like a prop that I use in the background and to set characters on and whatnot and get cool pictures. It's not really something that goes to the end of the year thing like in the best. Once again, cool little crossover thing. It's not happening. You do not make the end of the year. That is a very good figure in terms of Masterverse stuff, but it doesn't go, it doesn't make it. You definitely don't make it. At all. That figure, that exclusive right there, has given me more trouble than any of the other turtles I put on the shelf in the last 5 years. His parts fall off, like his arm likes to fall off, and his wrist is funny, and his katana broke, and his legs are kind of iffy sometimes, and his balance is a little off. I don't know if I just got unlucky, but mine seems to be a real problem. He does not work well. He is an issue. Like I said, I like her, but she's not going the distance this year. No way. Very cool. Absolutely. If anybody had the chance, it would be between him and Cammy this year for Jada. But I don't think so. Not with some of the stuff they're up against. Yeah, no. Same problem as the others. You desperately needed the lower ab crunch. And you know what's infuriating about it? She has an exact cut on her body where that would have made sense. Why is the lower ab crunch not right there where you see a cut in the lower torso? Why craft that part and not put the articulation in? On a character specifically known for hitting the crazy poses that she hits in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. What are we doing? Why? That's a problem. She doesn't go the distance. Though I love her. I did love that figure. I've had a good time with her from what I've done, but there's no denying that she has problems. That Spider-Man is very, 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 very good. Finally, put Revan on the shelf. Not going the distance this year, but once again, having KOTOR on the shelf, amazing. That Batman, I thought he was my fill-in for the best possible at the time. He's still very good. He's not the best Batman that I opened this year. I don't think he was. Very cool. Always happy to get a new Timber. Wolves, that's very cool. I now have two of these wolves because of the kind of packs that we've bought, and they will be very cool for doing some barbarian pictures and whatnot. I finally got a Laura on the shelf. She's not perfect, but she's pretty good. She doesn't make the top 10. There's no way. But I was very pleased to finally add one after all these years. That's a good Silver Surfer. I got to hand it to them. They did a good job. It is not the Silver Surfer for me, but it's good. I really do. I got to give them credit. I like her. That's the thing. It's a small thing, but it is the thing. And an orange man needs an orange chair, and he has it, and he's happy, and we're all happy. He doesn't make the list, but he is good. We talked about this. I love Megan. I think it's fantastic. NECA problems, regardless. They have them. It's part of her figure. She doesn't make it. Ooh. We're going to see how far she goes. Because that figure is a line killer. I'm dead serious. She is the kind of figure that shows up that you buy, and the rest of the line is shamed by her. If you take the price of the fact that she came with that Thanos, and you cut the price in half, and you claim she's only a $30 figure, every other female figure that comes out in the line after her that feels trash in comparison, she is literally a line killer. She comes out the door, she shows what's possible, and then everything that follows her looks cheap by comparison and irritates you down the line and makes you start skipping figures, and it actually harms the profit margins of the line because we're no longer willing to tolerate half quality figures. She's a line killer. Very cool. She was one of the best Motu that we opened this year. I'm dead serious about that. I really, really, really like her. I didn't do any photos or anything with her this year, and I think that kind of holds her back because I didn't have a chance to really kind of dive into how cool she can be. But I believe if I would have spent some more time with her and got some like dinosaur pictures and stuff like that with her, I think she really would have gone further. But we're not. No. Very cool. No. Finally have a Wonder Woman. She is good. For what she is meant to be, she is good. But there are two Wonder Women in this line that beat her hands down. One is the Wonder Woman that I wanted. The absolute classic, no joke Wonder Woman. And everybody knows the one I'm talking about. The one that hit the market, was there for like a third of a day. If not, I'm being too generous. She was there for minutes, if you were lucky. Then she was gone, and nobody ever had another chance. And now she's like $100+ on the aftermarket, and we're just not going to own her unless he does a re-release of that figure. And he has a chance. He just did a JLA Flash. We need him to also do a JLA Wonder Woman where he just basically re-releases that figure back onto the market and calls it JLA and calls it a day. Maybe a different head sculpt or an extra head sculpt so it can be Diana or her mom. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's how you get away with that. If he does that, perfect. I will buy it. It'll be the best thing ever. That's the Wonder Woman that we all want. Personally, I know it is for me. The other one is very, very good and is trapped behind an $80 paywall because you have to buy a Godzilla or you can't get her. She is the second best Wonder Woman in the whole line, personally. This is probably the third for me. I do really like this Wonder Woman. She's not going the distance, but those are my thoughts on Wonder Woman and why she doesn't go the distance, and the fact that I'm still complaining that I really, really wanted that. Oh my God. Dragon Man. See what I mean? This is going to be tough. Some of these guys are just untouchable. As a Conan. No. Ugh. Look at her. Take her in. That is the biggest disappointment of the entire year. Hands down. Trash. No. I love him. I really do. But my 40s Superman is definitely above him in my ranking on a personal scale because of how I grew up and the cartoon that I watched. Because of that, he's not making it. He will not be able to beat that. If I have to choose between them, he's absolutely not going to beat out my 40s Superman, but I do love him a lot. Oh, she's so good. We're going to give her a chance. Oh, these are good. I didn't have a War Machine, so this is a good War Machine for me. And it would be very difficult to sell me another. I know that about myself. I've had the same Iron Man on the shelf for like ever now, and he'll be the same way. I don't collect Iron Man. I don't collect War Machine, but I did want a War Machine. I got one. I also got an Omega Red. Fantastic. I'm probably set with these two figures going forward for a very long time, if not forever, but they will not be making this countdown. Oh, she's good. Oh. That Conan is sick. He is very, very, very good. Look, it's not fire. Look at that. Isn't that something? She's not going to make this countdown. But I finally got the character that I was going for instead of the one that I bought by accident. Oh, and isn't it crazy that like shortly after I got her and I took fire off the shelf and got rid of fire, they released ice? I was not putting fire back on the shelf to go get ice. I did not get ice. I took fire off the shelf and fire is gone now. Cool. No way. Cool. No way. Okay, let us figure out where we are now. What have we cut this list down to? Okay, we cut this down to 25 items. 15 of these figures gotta go. So, before we go any further, let me see if anything's necessarily been said. You got it going on right now that 89 Batman, Catwoman, and Penguin are the number 1, 2, and 3 for you. That's very cool. I can't necessarily disagree. And I'm actually noticing right now that I missed some pictures, because I actually didn't add those into the countdown. However, they would not have made it, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I'm okay with that. They are good, but I don't think they would have made my top 10. Like, I got to cut 15 of what you just saw, and I don't think they would have survived this next wave of cuts. Hey, what's up? So, let us cut the last ones now, okay? We got to cut 15 figures. That's what we got to do. So, we're going back. That Batman, that's one, he's gone. She's gone. Look, I do like her a lot, but McFarlane figures are McFarlane figures, and the ones that really stand out, and I think she's one of them. Don't misunderstand what I'm about to do here, but 15 gotta go. There are some absolute people that will not be leaving the list. She's getting booted. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Why did I just drop her off the list? Because while I like her a lot, I have to be honest about the situation as well. And I have to say that when it comes right down to it, I don't necessarily believe how do I put this? I don't have enough association with her for her to make the distance. That's what I'm saying. So we got to cut 7 more. 7 more, leave the list. I really, 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 really like her. I do. Look, I'm sorry, Red. You are very, 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 very good. Like, she has grown on me over the course of the year. She really has. She's a tremendous figure. But no. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. Look, he's a bear. That is really cool, but that's what he is. He's a bear. And the fact that half of his pack was something that I don't even really care for. He was a Commando Snake Eyes in blue. He's my 3rd Commando Snake Eyes now. And I have better colors than blue because he's kind of like a nod to the cartoon, which I've seen none of. We've talked about this multiple times. I bought him for that bear. That bear is good. But that bear doesn't make it the distance. We have some majors here. 3 more gotta go. Conan is staying. I know that. I really, really, really like her. Dragon Man, are you kidding me? She's an absolute line killer. He really is, after spending real time with him, he is not my favorite Spider-Man, but he is the best Spider-Man they have done. Argumentatively, I'm not talking about like what you prefer. That is probably, without a doubt, the very best Spider-Man they ever did. That doesn't mean he's my favorite. That does kind of cut him on the list. That kind of hurts him because of the situation at hand. 2 more gotta go. Who is getting the axe? Logan, man, I'm sorry. That's 1. It's between you 2. I'm surprised I'm going to do this. Bye. Okay. I have it. I have the list. 10 items. And here we go. These are the 10 best figures we opened 2025. In no particular order, but let's be real about it. That, right there, you gotta give it to when McFarlane does right. He does right. The wings are everything for this character. First off, she moves immaculately. I mean, for a McFarlane figure that often gets called out for things like that, she moves so well. She has comic book colors, which is absolutely fantastic. I love the open belly area right here. It absolutely works. The arms are a little funny, but after you start messing with her, you get to understand why she's built that way. And while it is kind of a problem, it's one that I'm more than willing to overlook because she's done so well. Those wings are an articulation dream. She likes to fall over, so get her a stand. Just so you know, she does like to fall over. The wings can do that. But every other winged character in this line is now been put to shame by those wings. He did it. They move they're so simple you wouldn't think it a big deal. But it is a big deal. There's almost no pose you can't do with this figure. Like, it is unbelievable. The way it can look like she's lifting herself up or diving down or swinging to the right or just going up into the sky. It's so good. Those wings are the absolute chef's kiss. One of the very best things he did for the year in the line. And she's one of the things that we got that absolutely was this year, this line, this way. And she made that list because, look, you got to give it to him. He did right. I don't think it could have been better. We could have fixed the arms. We could have found a way, but you get the idea. Sentinel. Guys, come on. It's a Sentinel. It is a 2 foot tall, ripped right off the television, right off the comic book Sentinel. Is he simple? Yes. Is he meant to be? Yes. Can he fight an entire team of X-Men and look unbelievable doing it? Yes. Does he come with battle damage? Yes. Does he come with blasters? Yes. You know the only thing he's missing? I'm serious about this. He's missing one thing and one thing only that would have pushed him over the edge. He doesn't have the weird tentacle thing that comes out of his hand in the animated series, where he would do like this and it would be and it would come out wrap around a guy or whatever and pick a mutant up or something. He doesn't have that. Why they chose not to give that to him, I don't know. That does seem a little confusing to me, but you could do that. With a little bit of manipulation, the Omega Red tentacles can kind of fit his hand and it doesn't look perfect, but if you do it right, you can create the illusion it does work. Sentinel. It's just no arguing. He is absolutely standout. A freaking Sentinel. 2 foot tall Sentinel. An absolute dream that I never thought would be fulfilled. That's Shumagorath. That is Shumagorath. He has multiple tentacles. They are bendy wires. He is literally sitting on my chair right now over there. And that is literally where he hangs out. And he can be used. His ability to move around the collection is unprecedented. He makes you feel like when you were a kid and you were just combining your toys together and playing whatever you thought made sense. Trek people can go to a planet and deal with Shumagorath. He's right there. He's right there. He's right next to the Star Trek people. You know what's really crazy about that? He doesn't look out of place. He can fight the Justice League. He doesn't look out of place. He can do combat with Conan the Barbarian. He doesn't look out of place. He can fall into the Motu category. He doesn't look out of place. He can go on your video game shelf because he literally was Marvel vs. Capcom. He doesn't seem out of place. This guy is one of the best figures, not of this year, but that we have ever seen. And he's so simple. They didn't exactly break the mold with this guy. He's the same rubber wire guy thing that we got when we were growing up, when we said, oh, we really want so-and-so figure, and your parents couldn't find him, so they bought you the Gumby-like guy that always was like this, and then you move him around, and after you move him enough, the wire pokes through his arms, and then it pokes your fingers, and you're like, ow, stupid figure. He's that guy. He's literally that thing from when we were growing up, and we had those figures. And he's everything. That is an absolute masterpiece from this year. Absolutely standout. Those I have wanted on my shelf since I was a child. Since I was a child. That's not an exaggeration. When I was growing up, one of my absolute biggest toy lines of my entire life was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. People ask me sometimes about how I didn't get into Motu when I was a kid, how I didn't have any Motu, how I didn't do Thundercats and things like that. Look, guys, I'm 41. When I was born, that stuff was wrapping up. When I was old enough to care, this is what it was. It was Ninja Turtles. And what were the absolute crowning achievement of that time for figures in my life at that age? It was Ghostbusters and these turtles. Specifically, these turtles. Then, I grew up, and I come to find that those turtles, they didn't move well. They didn't have great articulation. They were held back by many things of their age. They were classic for what they were, but they were classic in the fact that they were what they were. Then, Super 7 comes along, and it says, not only will we do the exact turtles you grew up with, We'll give you all the parts that they had, plus new parts, plus a pizza box and accessories and cool stuff. And we'll give you new age heads to make them new characters, and include all the original exact heads that you grew up with. And we'll make the color differences as well. These are the exact turtles you grew up with. Modernized, repainted, rescaled, rearticulated, put them on your shelf. And then they said to me, but we want like $70 a piece for them. Oh! Ooh, that's a lot, that's a lot, that's a lot, that's a lot. So it took me a long time to finish these guys. Sometimes that's a very big ask, depending on when you ask it. I picked up Leonardo. I got Michelangelo. I found Donatello on sale. I found Raphael on sale. And when I finally finished this team, which was this year, well, it was just 2025, I put these guys on my shelf, and it was like I had completed something that I'd been working on my whole life. I'm not kidding. Every single time new Turtles would come out, people would say to me, what do you think of them? They're very cool. What do you think of these? They're very cool. What about these guys? Movie Turtles, blah, 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 all this other stuff. That's cool, that's cool, that's cool. It's not that I don't love all the other Turtles, but this absolutely speaks to what I see. If you were to say to me, what do the Ninja Turtles look like? You're looking at them. It's this. It's this right here. It's nothing but this. Every time you ask me that question. What is Raphael? What's the best looking Raph? It's right there. Best Mikey? He's right there. Best Leo? You're looking at him. Best Donnie? Look over there. There's no way around it. These guys are the quintessential, burned into my brain image of what the Ninja Turtles look like and are. Specifically, these toys. These were an absolute holy grail for me, and I finally got them on the shelf. And it kind of broke some of my Ninja Turtle collecting, if you want the truth about it. Because now I keep seeing some things that are like cool, but I've got what I want. And I don't know what it's going to take for them to put another one in my hands. I'm not saying I'm done collecting Turtles. But can you top this? I honestly don't know. That Superman is what I see literally in my dreams. When I voice Superman, when I'm reading a Superman comic, and I think about the voice, it's his voice. When I think describe Superman, I think him. It's Christopher Reeve. It always is, and it more than likely always will be. Part of his movies are dated at this point. I'm not oblivious to that. It doesn't change the fact that this is what I grew up with. And I know there are other versions of him out there. And I could pay $300 and get Hot Toys or whatever. I'm talking in the 1/6 scale. I'm just naming a random company. I'm just saying in general. I know that I could get a better one of these, arguably. But for the price that this was, the quality you got, the amount you got with it, and the fact that he scales alongside all the other multiverse that I have, and he can stand right next to basically movie He-Man and stuff like that, because, you know, DC and Motu, they shared a comic universe for a long time. This is perfect for me. This is probably the very best Superman on the shelf. And I have no idea how long it will take for anything to dethrone him. She's perfect. I don't care. Perfect. The only thing would have made her better, multiple heads. That's it. That's it. I love the cape. I love the subtle differences across the costume, where it's kind of an amalgamation of different eras put in together. I love the fact that they didn't skimp on the body. She is exactly what she's supposed to be. I love the fact that they gave her this. I have always loved the one pauldron look with the rope. I love that. I love the gloves, but these are not the gloves that have the buckles. That would have been cool with me too, but that's what I mean when I say this is an amalgamation. And I'm actually 100% on board for it. It does not bother me in the least. It actually makes me quite happy. Because every time I look at her, it's like this is the perfect costume across the ages, all put together from the different best parts of different Power Girl over the ages. And this is it. Like this is the way I want her to be in the comics, in design, in general. This is it. I think he literally did masterclass work with this figure. I don't know how it could have been better, aside from give me a couple other heads, different expressions, and this would have been forever. Like, it's so good. I know a lot of people didn't like her. They thought she was too big. I don't think she is. I think you're talking about comic books. I'm thinking, and personally, comics change their scale from writer to writer, artist to artist. So I'm sorry, I don't have a problem with it. I've seen times where she's as big as Wonder Woman, and I've seen times where Wonder Woman is as big as Superman. So when I look at that, my mind easily justifies it, and I have no problem with it at all. She's, hands down, basically perfect. And yes, any of these figures I'm talking about, there are videos if you want to hear my absolute thoughts on them, but like, they couldn't have done better. That is a line killer. I said it before. I stick to it. I'm telling you, this figure comes out in the line and it immediately makes you question every other figure in the line. Hands down, she is an actual problem for Marvel Legends because we have seen her and we know you can do it. And we know that you can do it within the confines of the pricing that you claim to be trying to stick to. Right now, your figures are nearly $40. She is cheaper than that. And yes, I'm saying that because she comes with Thanos, and he is a very large figure, and I'll bet you had he come out on his own, they would have probably charged you $50 for him by himself, at minimum $40, and called him deluxe or something. The fact that I know that makes me look at her and tell you that she was in the $30 price bracket when they created her. She's a line killer. As of right now, from now on, every single figure that comes out after her will be held to the standard, is she as good as Psylocke? If no, that's a problem. That's a problem. And I don't think, I think that you're going to see a lot of the female characters come out, and a lot of people are probably going to look at this, look at those, and say, what? She doesn't have the new arms? She doesn't have the ab crunch? She doesn't have, that's going to be a problem. I really do. I think she's a line killer. I'm not kidding. I think she's immaculately good. That guy is the reason they do made to orders. This guy changes the game. Like he really does. If this is the future of bigger projects in Marvel Legends, not everybody chipping in to hopefully get a Ghost Rider car, and maybe if you get enough tiers, you'll get a Goblin Queen or something. Like, no, it's him. Show me the figure. Tell me he's going to be good. Let me purchase him. End of story. Everybody gets one that wants one. Everybody puts their pre-order in. Everybody has a shot. They don't skimp on it because they know it's going to adult collectors. They charge you a little bit more, and he's worth it. This guy changes the game. From now on, those made-to-order things, like after seeing him, I got big hopes for things like Apocalypse, Mephisto. They can't skimp now. They have changed the game. This guy changes the game. It really does. I'm not kidding. I believe that. And they did not skimp on this guy at all. He is an absolute centerpiece. And boy, did we need him, if we're being perfectly honest. Because the old one was completely inaccessible, if you want to be fair. Like, I don't know who's paying that price. And now you didn't have to. He's right there. He's right there. I love her. Only problem, and this does come down to exactly what I said. I've already argued this multiple times. The line killer is the only thing that hurt her. She's Fantastic Four. I think there is a minor paint issue, personally. This is not supposed to be like a weird thing here, and then this goes up and there's like green. This, I don't know why they did this. I don't know why this wasn't just painted in. That's supposed to be painted in. I don't think that's that big of a deal. It wasn't enough to like hurt me or nothing like that, but like, she's big, she's muscular, she's She-Hulk, she's Fantastic Four, she got the extra head, she got the barbells. This is awesome. She got the extra hands. This was what I wanted. When they first released that She-Hulk and everybody was like, that's the one, I was like, I'm going to get her because I think she's fantastic. But she's not fantastic. Then they followed her up with a repaint, an extra head, a couple extra hands, a funny accessory. I'm in. Sell it to me. Takes my money. You had it. There was this is it. This was perfect. Only thing holding her back. Lower ab crunch. From now on, like I said, every time you make a figure, they will be compared to that Psylocke. And this right here, it does have one flaw. It is missing some of the Psylocke articulation. And you could say, She-Hulk doesn't move like that though, Bill. I am willing to give you that to a certain extent. Except for to say that I don't know many human beings, especially in that kind of shape, that cannot move their lower torso. You don't have to put her into crazy Spider-Man poses. But she is a character that has defined glamorous body image over the years for women and this kind of figure, like we'll call it muscle mommies, but you get the idea. I'm actually talking about something different entirely. But do you know many of them? Do you think it's bizarre that we got a She-Hulk that can't do a sit-up? Does that seem weird? She can't do a crunch. She can't do a crunch and she can't do a sit-up. Putting her in that pose to like have her working out, it is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to make it look manageable. She can't do it. Why? Because every single one of these figures should be coming with the lower ab crunch now, and she doesn't. And if you were to tell me it would break up the sculpt, I don't care. That is the only thing holding her back. That Conan right there is the Frank Frazetta idealization Conan. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. It still has Frazetta icon articulation problems. I am 100% in agreement with that. There are some issues. I do think he's very, very good. I would argue he is the best thing in the line so far to be released. However, he does have issues. We will at least not lie about those issues. But for those issues aside, for what is available Conan-wise on the market, realistically, that you can buy right now, he was the absolute best choice. Like, he really was. And of the Conans that I have on the shelf, which are not too extravagant, to be fair, I have two King Conans, one from Mezco, one Super 7. And then I have a Conan from Super 7, who's just a Conan the Barbarian. And then I have the Frazetta Icons Conan. He is the best Conan on the shelf. However, his throne is in question very soon. Because I'm going to tell you something. I think this Conan is in trouble. Because that Epic Hacks Conan looks like the dream Conan. And if he moves as well as that Red Sonja moves from Epic Hacks, then that Conan will become my choice Conan moving forward, probably for a very long time. Like an absolute very, very, very long time. I have a hard time believing that something will come along and beat it out. Those are the top 10 of the year. Of everything that we opened this year, those are the ones that stand out. Those are the ones that make me say, holy crap. That's it. That's where my thought patterns go this year. And let's be honest. I did not dislike, I think, almost anything. Except for She-Ra. We don't like that She-Ra. At all. We are disappointed by that She-Ra. We are saddened by that She-Ra. We are sickened by that She-Ra. We don't like her. She can go home. She has already left the collection. I bagged her. I tabled her. She's gone. Bye-bye. Don't like her. Hate her. Can't stand her. But otherwise, pretty much every single item this year was good. There is one thing I would like to say before I go to the comments and kind of wind this down. One thing I'd like to emphasize. I have noticed that sometimes I hear people say things like, hey, this was not really a good year for toys. There just really wasn't a lot out there or whatever. Or I've heard them say, oh, there was a lot of letdowns this year. That honestly confuses me a little bit. And maybe it's because I cherry pick the way that I do. I buy the things that interest me, the things that I like, and the things that I have a personal connection to. As I have said many times on this channel, everything in this collection must have a story, a reason for being here, or it's got to go. Everything. To the largest item, to the smallest, to the most significant story. Big childhood memories. And literal like personality defining things. Or something as simple as a time forgotten, but still something that pertains very much to me. Everything that I buy is a museum to my life. It's the way that it is. Or I don't buy it. I don't know how other people collect. But that's my rule of thumb. It has been for a very long time. And I can't remember a year that has ever gone by that I've bought things and then sat here and been able to do like a top 10 most hated figures list or something like that. Or like biggest disappointments of the year. I don't have that ability to make that argument. Because if I bought it, there was a reason behind the purchase. Almost every single time. I thought it was a great year. I really did. And we got some amazing stuff out of it. Like some truly fantastic stuff. Stuff that blew me away. And in all honesty, there's even some stuff here that I look at and I wonder how it didn't make the list. like the stuff that got cut in the first video back in June. And I look at it. I sit there and I stare at it on the shelf sometimes. And I'm like, that's amazing. And the fact that it doesn't make it to the end of the year it's not in the top 10. Holy crap. What beat it? Like, personally, I think it was an unbelievable year for toys. I think we really are in a golden age for toy collecting. I'm not saying the prices are golden age, but if you are willing to save and you have a true interest in what you want specifically, there's almost nothing beyond your grasp right now. We're getting fire and ice toys. We're getting unbelievable Ninja Turtle options. We have an entire new Star Trek line coming out. New! Fantastic looking modern figures at the same price as Marvel Legends. They're basically $40. If you like it, we got brand new Fantastic Four on the market. We have a World War II Wolverine. A new Phoenix. Cyclops with optic blasts that are actually cool. Like, we have a ridiculous amount of Motu. We have toys that people have forgotten that are back on the market. And literal toys that could become their own icons moving forward. There is no such thing as nothing for you. If you want to look hard enough, if you have an interest in almost anything, it seems to exist right now. There are Golden Girls action figures right now. Did you hear my words? You can get a set of the Golden Girls right now. Tell me there's nothing out there for you. Like, that's a you thing at that point. Hasbro should have gave the Sentinel a tendril. Yes, using the tendril from HasLab is not an excuse for why it wasn't included. Yes, I agree. I do not understand. That is the one thing I feel they should have had, they didn't have. That does confuse me. I'm right there with you. My only complaint with Shuma is that there is no bendy wire all the way down the tentacles. Fair point. If you're going to point out a flaw, that is a fair point. It has enough to get the job done. And one could argue maybe they didn't go all the way down the tentacle because they wanted to avoid that Christmas thing. I will tell you what I'm talking about, in case you don't know. Years ago, I don't know how old you are. That's the only reason I'm saying this. Years ago, every now and then you would ask for a figure, and they would give you that rubber guy. You know, like Gumby used to come like this. And he had a wire inside of him. One year, I asked over and over and over again for the green Power Ranger. It's what I wanted. I got one in my stocking. I'm not saying I'm not grateful. I played with this toy. I played with it enough to stab myself. That's what I'm telling you. He was that guy. He comes out and he's just like this, and you like bend him, and he's like, oh, you got this weird. And like you bend him around, and he's got the wire inside of him. And I played with him enough that there came a time when, because the wire ran all the way down into like his wrist, that I moved him, and the wire came out of the wrist. It actually slit out into outside the frame, and then I ended up stabbing my fingers on him. That's a real thing. So like, and now I just saw one of your responses, 43. So I know you know the toy I'm talking about. Maybe they were trying to avoid that. I don't know for sure. But I don't want to stab myself on Shuma Gorath. And you could say that I'm defending. I wouldn't necessarily argue. I kind of am in a way. But when I think about it, that's my only reasoning I come up with. My other reason is that they didn't want to spend the money to do it all the way on every single one of them. Because money is money. But that's kind of where my head goes with that. I love those 4 Super 7 turtles. I cherish mine. Absolutely. Those, for me, those are my turtles, 1,000%. Like I said, they're the ones I picture, man. Hey, thank you again. That is crazy. You come on here every time and you give me a little bit of something. That is unbelievable, man. I honestly do appreciate it, like to no end. And I'm honestly sad that you had to miss out on Dragon Man, but I'm sure that the reason you missed out on it is because you were taking care of your stuff. And in the end, you always got to respect that. Don't hurt yourself for your hobbies. Make your hobbies something that are part of you because you've done all the other stuff you're supposed to do. And I have nothing but respect for you. And maybe in the future, you will still have an opportunity. I'm not saying you won't have to pay for it, but you never know. And now that they have the sculpt, you never know. They may put out a second wave made to order. I'm not saying it's impossible. They made the sculpt. I mean, they like money. We'll see. I cross my fingers for you. I really do. You do remember those toys. That ball peg waist really needs to become standard. Leave the waist swivel in 2015. Yes, absolutely. And most of the girls don't even get the swivel. 2025 had its problems, but it was a wild year for toys, especially high-ends and imports. There's been like 4 or 5 best Batmans of all time figures in 2025, which is crazy that you make a statement like that because let's be real about just how much Batman there is every single year, and yet this year managed to pump out a multitude of best of the best. That's a crazy accomplishment. Have fun, buy what you want to buy, and don't let the opinions affect that decision. I'm applying that advice for 2026 for me. Awesome news. I'm going to buy what I want to buy, pick what interests me the most, and roll with the punches. I'm here to talk fandoms, collect, play with figures, have fun. And that is the way to be. Look, man, we work and do real life all the time. This is fun. This is our hobby. And I'm not trying to self-advertise, but I do have a video called Hobby Hate, or Escape Hobby Hate, or We Hate Our Hobbies. It's something like that. And that sums up exactly how I feel about that kind of stuff. If your hobby is literally got you in a place where all you're doing is complaining about your hobby, I don't know if that's your hobby anymore. I think you've lost the reason for why you do it. Yeah. Not that I have anything going on, but I'm misleading. I'll put it that way, realistically. I work a very physical job. I do actually lift a lot of stuff. I'm fine. I'm definitely not Hulk, but I'd say I'm more solid than most people that don't work the kind of thing that I work. I unfortunately missed out due to financial constraints at the time and paying for other stuff. But I've accepted it, and I'm looking forward to Mephisto and Apocalypse. Oh, man, a foot-tall Apocalypse. Dude, that's going to be so sick. After seeing what they did with the Sentinel, I have faith that we are going to be looking at something very cool. Oh, and by the way, you were building a pool? Look, man, you came out ahead. I'm being honest. I hope you get all the use you can get out of a pool, because it's freaking awesome to think that you have a pool. I got one of those. I go to my buddy's house, or I have to go to a hotel or something like that for a pool. 1,000%. Look, man, if you told me miss out on Dragon Man, get a pool, I would take that. I would. I love my Dragon Man. Don't get me wrong. He's right up there. But a pool is a pool, man. That's awesome news. That's fantastic news. I'm absolutely glad to hear it. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. This one is kind of a short one because it's just the end of the year cap. But next Monday, we will be coming back, and we'll be back in the rotation. I've got a couple of videos that are going to come out that are going to be shorts because we're adding at least 3 or 4 figures to the rotation in general. I've got some Mega Man stuff that we need to talk about, as well as a new DC multiverse that I actually got to pick up and everything. So cool stuff is on the way, and we will be talking about it. And like always, when we get back on Monday, you vote on it, we'll talk about it, and that's what we got. That's what we got. Oh, and as a side note, very, very weird thing, but one of the best pickups that I did this entire year, I know is going to be wild. It was this. This. See that? See that guy right there? This guy right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is the G.I. Joe I played with more than any other figure in my whole life. When I was growing up, I got this Joe, and I played with him more than any other Joe. He's my absolute favorite Joe. I didn't even know his name. I just had him. He was cool. He was different. I did everything from use him as a Cyclops type of character to claim that he was the scuba gear for the tiger-looking ninja guy, to making up my own BS storylines with him. I used him all the time. He is not an original. I lost this figure years ago, and I looked all over for it every time. Every time I went to a con, I went through boxes, and every time I tried to find this guy specifically. And the few times I found him, he was priced over $100, and I walked away from him. Randomly, this year, I found him in a little bag with $10 price tag, and he is back in my collection. And he feels brand new. It is unreal to me to see this guy come back into my life and close off like a part of my childhood that is long since gone. It is wild if we're being honest about ourselves, right? And we're not buying for the sake of buying. Look, you're always able to spend money. But if you're buying for the sake of it's new, I need the new thing, always got to pay for the new thing, always got to get the pre-orders, always got to get the next item, and then you don't even necessarily open and enjoy them, you just set them to the side and move on, because you got it, now you got to get the next thing. It is easy to get lost in that and forget why we care in the first place. Sometimes the best item of the year has nothing to do with anything new. It has to do with you. And this year, it really was for me. Not saying I didn't love most everything else that I got. We didn't like that She-Ra. Nobody likes that She-Ra. You don't like that. We just don't. Nobody likes her. She has no friends. But this guy's amazing. This is one of the most amazing finds of the year. And I put that Star Trek bridge back on the shelf after all this time. I put my Ninja Turtles on the shelf after all these years. Like, I'm telling you, man, this year was phenomenal. And I really don't see it slowing down just yet. 2026, I can't wait to see what the next thing is that we open first and going from there. Everybody take care. I really appreciate you hanging out with me, and I will catch you guys next Monday. Good night, guys.